Rainy Day Blues.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Yes, indeed.
Oh, I thought about getting off into something
Yes, well,
bongo deep.
figured while you were sitting there, I might as well film
Yes.
for let's doing today's
Today's reading.
Yes.
On an incredibly rainy night, afternoon in Long Beach.
Yeah, so that was
Southern California.
That was the Rainy Day Blues.
I call it the Rainy Day Bongo Blues.
I got it. All right.
Boom, boom, dum, dum, dum.
Uh-huh.
Boom, boom, dum, dum, dum. But that's not why we're here.
All right.
We're here to actually continue the reading
Yes, sir.
of one of the columns that I wrote for the African Times newspaper, 1996 to 1998. And we've been going right along here, only missing a day or two when circumstances demanded that we miss a day or two. So we are not missing today. As I said, a really rainy day in Southern California, and I'll just leave it go at that.
And for our gutters to be flooded, that's unusual. For our gutters outside to be flooded.
Not my gutters. Their gutters.
Their gutters.
Don't tell me my gutters. My gutters are being refreshed. It's being sterilized. Don't tell me it's flood. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But it's apt to happen because the ground is saturated. You can only take... You're reading the National Geographic about what happens with water.
Yes, so, yes indeed. Thank you, Alma.
There you go. Thank you, Alma. This one is called A Vanishing Fancy Called the Orange Girl. The experience of an African American.
Okay.
I think you'll see why it's called that in just a moment or so. Some of us have it and some don't. Barima Azuma Nelson, the boxing champion from Ghana, had it. Pele had it. Fela Anikulapo Kuti had it. Bob Marley had it. Billie Holiday, Bird, Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Malcolm, and Martin, and the woman who used to sell oranges on the corner of the junction, in Palm Wine Junction, Lebadi, Accra, Ghana, had it. You'll find out what it is they had.
Tell me, yes.
What is it? It's the kind of thing that you know if you feel it. And the orange seller had it. She made a miraculous appearance one morning, wedged between a number of curbside entrepreneurs, the wachi seller, the Kelly Willie vendor, the groundnut peddler, and the woman who seemed to be selling everything that the others weren't selling. It would have been impossible to ignore her presence. A small person, shapely and wiry, about 50 years old, with a fierce, lively interest in everything going on about her, and a spotlessly white towel that she used to hold the oranges she peeled. "Do you have a sweet one?" I asked. "Sir, all are sweet," she answered, and began to slice the skin from my orange with her slender, tapering fingers. It was close to being a surgical operation. She had a knife that just started at the end of the orange and went right without a
okay, right.
You need a steady wrist for that. I wasn't the only one dazzled by her technique, which is unusual in Accra, Ghana, where thousands of orange sellers peel oranges every day. She made me feel the urge to know her story, to find out something about the village she came from, what her husband was like, her children, her family, what her goals were. She was always courteous. "I am called Rose." But she held back the core morsels of her being. I savored every chance detail I learned about her as she cleverly encouraged me to talk about my life, my goals. "Now in Ghana here, then where, sir?" She was obviously an artist, in addition to being a psychologist. Sometimes she would rearrange the geometrical patterns of her fruit during the course of the day, something I never saw any of the other orange sellers do. And on one occasion, she placed a neatly lettered sign on her neatly arranged table that said, "We are who we think we are."
Mm-hmm.
We are who we think we are. My vitamin C consumption tripled on that day. I didn't feel that I could intrude on her philosophical space by asking her, what does that mean? The self-confident way she performed her work made her sign self-explanatory. And then suddenly, incredibly, one day, she wasn't there.
My goodness.
I felt that a huge gap had been opened in the curbside business community.
Mm-hmm.
I staggered back and forth for a few days, trying not to panic.
Gotcha.
Who would answer my convoluted questions about Ghanaian society?
Mm-hmm.
Who would give me my daily Ofaine ni oha mieni? Please give me two. Ofaine ni oha miani.
Mm-hmm.
My adage for the day, mikase gan, I'm learning ga, mikase ga, mikase ga. Finally, after 4 days of indecision, I approached a woman who was selling everything that the others weren't selling. What happened to the orange seller? Oh, she had been called back to her village to preach, she informed me, with a huge smile and an overpriced pineapple. Stupidly, I asked, by whom? I mean, the woman's eyes stared at me in disbelief. By the Lord, she answered.
Ah.
Who else could call upon you to preach?
Mm-hmm.
I strolled away smiling, pitying the poor sinner she had returned to deal with. If she used the Bible the way she used her knife to peel her oranges, a bunch of sinners were going to be in for some serious problems. Amen.
Amen. Ashe.
Ashe. So that was the orange seller.
Ah, yes.
I made every effort I could to pick people who had just ordinary occupations.
Well, you know, the dealer that's on the side of the road that is an entrepreneur
Yeah.
in themselves, that
Oh.
they usually have great conversations. They have great people skills. And
They have to.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so that is, you know.
I mean, on one occasion, early in the game for this woman, I didn't include this, but I came out and, you know, I didn't know oranges were greenish, but they can be sweet.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
I think they color here. But I got 2 oranges, and she overpriced me. She overcharged me. You
Right.
know, like
Oh, Bruni.
I'm talking. Somebody said, "How much you pay for your orange?" I said, "Okay, I paid 1,000 cedis. 1,000. There were 9,000 cedis to the dollar, so it's a few pennies."
Uh-huh.
So, oh no. No, you paid 1,000 cedis for 2 oranges. That should only be 500 cedis, 250 apiece.
Ah, okay.
So the next day I came prepared to argue with her a little bit. So I want to get 4 oranges. I just want to see how much she would charge me. For 4 oranges, she charged me 600 cedis, 200 apiece.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to get the logic of it, but she's making a profit off of.
Right.
She has to in order to.
And she figures if you're coming back, you may be a loyal customer.
Okay, the next 2 days later, I go get 4 oranges, and she gave me a free one. She hooked me. She hooked me. I was looking, what's the orange market gonna be like today? You know.
How wonderful! How incredibly wonderful!
And on that day that I was so busy, I was, you know, walking past her, and she said, "You forgot your orange."
Ah.
And flipped me one.
Ah.
So of course the next day I got 6.
There you go. There you go. How beautiful.
That was a moment in Ghana,
Okay.
and there were a lot of them that we'll get to in the days to come.
Before we close, would you, besides the National Geographic, what was the book that you just finished reading about the black doctors? Some black women doctors?
Was that me?
Yes, you said you were reading a book about two.
Oh, this is Dr. Blackstock.
Ah.
Dr. Blackstock. Oh my goodness, what is her first name? Akuche?
Mm-hmm. Coochie or something like that.
Anyway, Dr. Blackstock, African American doctor, sister named Odie, and she talks about her career and about the disparities in treatment and the quality of treatment between the service given white women and women of color. For example, Beyonce and Serena Williams were given initially a very poor treatment. These are two, world-class celebrities. It's called, the book is called The Legacy.
Ah, yes.
The Legacy. We don't have it here right now.
Next time.
But, she talks about how it is that we're in one of industrial class country, and people are being given third-rate, third-world class health care. And the reason for it, the disparity for it, is racism. Some doctors seem to think, for example, that African Americans can withstand pain more than other people. I mean, there are all kind of real weird, stereotypical things that come out in her book. It's called The Legacy.
Right, and
Dr. Blackstock.
okay, and
She's on MSNBC from time to time as a medical consultant, and she's very personable. She wound up, after having had a lot of experiences in the public health sector, I think she went to private medicine, so to speak, and she's doing well.
she and her sister, right?
Yeah.
So they both became, or was it a daughter?
Her mother was a doctor, and her twin sister.
Uchi Blackstone.
Gucci. Is it Gucci or Coochie?
U-C-H-E.
Uchi Blackstock.
Right.
And her sister's name is Odie.
Blackstock.
They decided, I thought they were Africans. The father, I believe, was Jamaican. I thought they were Africans when I first saw the show she was on. But the parents decided to just give them African names.
Right. A black physician reckons with racism in medicine.
As a matter of fact, in this Sunday's book section, there's a very nice review of the book.
Ah, okay.
So
The New York Times.
New York Times.
Right.
She's saying something to somebody.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
it's about time.
I'm so glad you reminded me of that, because the book is impressive. There's no editor listed, so I'm assuming that somebody did not get the chance to cut all of the references to racism out, because if it had been edited in the way that it can be edited by some editors, they will deliberately, if you start saying something and get a little mantra going,
Sanitize it.
They don't want to. No, you already said that. No, you can't say it often enough. You can't say racism is horrible often enough. So that's what she's saying in the book, The Legacy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And your website is www.odiehawkins.com. And I see you're dressed warmly because the house is cold except for the warm room.
Well, I'm anxious to get back into that, I'll tell you that. But before we leave, I want to know, what is it about you that's so tall?
Maybe hiccups.
It.
Yes.